And the fact of the matter is, these two parties in Washington, D.C. have been playing games with the American people on this and a lot of other issues for so long. As George Wallace said in 1968, there's not a dime's worth of difference between them. Except that I would say now, all these years later, with inflation being factored in, there's not a nickel's worth of difference between them. And that's why back in 2004, I first became an independent after having left the Democratic Party in 1980 and becoming a Republican in the Reagan years, and being a loyal Republican from 1980 until 2004. But then I became an independent, and I'm proud now to say that I'm an independent now affiliated with the Constitution Party, because in Washington, D.C., quite frankly, you and I who believe in constitutional government, who believe in the right to life, who believe in the Second Amendment, who believe in the right of a nation to defend its borders against illegal immigration, who believe that America is an independent sovereign nation and should stay that way, which means we don't need the United Nations. Those of us who believe that have very few people in Washington, D.C. that represent us. Ron Paul and a handful of others, and that's it. Since the election, Ron Paul has tried to, in fact, he's introduced a bill. Thankfully, he's got a few congressmen coming on board here and there to try and audit the Fed. The Federal Reserve has never been audited. Billions and trillions of dollars, and they've never been audited. If you want to really have fun with this, and I'm not really trying to ruin your day, I'm really not, but if you really want to have fun with this, go get online, Google up some things like Federal Reserve, Bernanke's testimony before Congress, and just start Googling some of that and listen to them give testimony before Congress, and you'll hear a congressman say, Mr. Bernanke, do you know what has happened to the billions of dollars, the stimulus dollars from the U.S. Treasury? Do you know who got it? Can you give us an accounting of where it went and who got it and how much they got? Is that too much to ask? No. Believe me, if you've ever been audited by the IRS, they ask you those questions and a whole lot more. Where did the money go? Who got it? For what purpose? And you'll sit there and you will listen to the chairman of the Treasury, and you'll listen to the chairman of the Federal Reserve mumble and stumble and say, Mr. Senator, Mr. Congressman, I don't have those records. I'm just not sure that we know right now where the money went. Liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. He knows exactly where that money went. It went to his bankster buddies. It went to those CEOs and CFOs within the Federal Reserve. You do understand, do you not, that the Federal Reserve is neither federal and there are no reserves. The Federal Reserve is a private banking cartel composed of people who, for the most part, are not citizens of the United States of America. Let me give you something else you may not know about the Federal Reserve. There's not a congressman on Capitol Hill, nor a senator, who knows exactly who is on the Federal Reserve. Can you imagine? Are you computing this? They don't even know who the exact members of the Federal Reserve are. We know who a few of them are. Some of the more high-profile members, we know who they are. Some of the ones who have graciously allowed people to know that they're on the Federal Reserve. But the vast majority of the members of the Federal Reserve are anonymous. We don't even know who they are. And yet billions and billions and trillions of taxpayer dollars are being funneled through their grubby, greedy, criminal little hands. And the American people have never one time been given any accounting of what has happened to our tax dollars. And both parties in Washington, D.C. continue to facilitate this international thievery, this gangland-style, mafia-style criminality conducted by the Federal Reserve, and neither John McCain or Barack Obama or George W. Bush or whoever else the president is going to be in 2012 from any of these two major parties, none of them are going to stop the criminality that we know as the Federal Reserve.